Thank you for listening to Get Your House in Order, which airs Saturdays at 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Central, and 7 p.m. Pacific. Listen to the show on the Resilient Christian Radio.
We don't know where this can lead us going forward. Things can just fizzle away from here. And, America taught Syria a lesson, that's not acceptable. And things can just go back to normal. Or it could be a domino effect that can escalate into something much bigger. Because over in that area, there's a lot of key players over there. China is a key player over in that area. Russia is a key ally, for Syria. And of course, a lot of the Middle Eastern countries that don't like to see the United States attack another Muslim country to begin with. So you just have a lot of factors going on. And so who knows what can transpire from what just took place this past week. So World War III, could this be the beginning steps, the beginning events that can lead to Bible prophecy? The sixth trumpet, Revelation chapter 9, it talks about a major war. It's going to kill 1/3 of mankind, it says. And that 1/3 fact, because it's in the Bible, so it's a fact. It's not a possibility. It's going to happen. It's not a matter of if. It's a matter of when. So 1/3 of man is going to die according to the prophecy in Revelation chapter 9. And now the question I have is that talking about the whole world's population, which is a little over 7 billion people? So we're talking about 2.3 billion people are going to die in this war? Well, it's possible, because in the Middle East and in China and in Russia and in India, and that whole area is right there close together. There's enough people in that area alone to lose 2.3 billion people, and there still be some left alive. It's just that many people over there. It's a very, very heavily populated area in that part of the world. So it's very possible. Or could this prophecy be regional? Is it talking about 1/3 of the people in that area? So if that area has 4 billion people in that area, then 1/3 would be a little over a billion people. So, but whichever way is true, the fact of the matter is a lot of people are going to die in that war when it takes place. A lot of people, whether it's a little over 1 billion or whether it's 2.3 billion, it's still a lot either way. So, this is something to think about. It's something to ponder. So let's read a little passage in Daniel chapter 7, starting at the 4th verse. Daniel chapter 7, starting at the 4th verse. Let's start at number 4. The first was like a lion and had eagle's wings. I beheld till the wings thereof were plucked, and it was lifted up from the earth and made stand upon the feet as a man, and a man's heart was given to it. Let me pause for a second and put my phone on silent so we won't have no interruptions. Okay, hopefully that's better. We can go down all the way down to verse 7. Verse 5 now. And behold, another beast, a second, like to a bear. and it raised up itself on one side, and it had 3 ribs in the mouth of it, between the teeth of it. And they said thus unto it, Arise, devour much flesh. Okay, and in verse 6, After this I beheld, and lo, another like unto a leopard, which had upon the back of it 4 wings of a fowl. The beast had also 4 heads, and dominion was given to it. In verse 7, After this I saw in the night visions, and behold, a 4th beast, dreadful and terrible and strong exceedingly. And it had great iron teeth. It devoured and brake in pieces and stamped the residue with the feet of it. And it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it. And it had 10 horns. Okay, I want to talk about this beast because this beast is a large part of the end time prophecies. Now according to the book of Daniel, these beasts are a union of nations. Now these nations are large nations. That's why they're called heads. Okay. Now, in verse 7, this 7th head, it had 10 horns. Now, these 10 horns, they are also nations, but they're little nations. That's what they call horns. So these are little nations that are horns, and the 7 heads are big nations, okay? Okay, so let's back up, and let's try to get a better understanding of who these nations could be. Now, to me, I was floored when the scales fell off my eyes concerning the first description of the first beast. Let's read it again, verse 4. It says, Then, I went back a chapter. It says, the first was like a lion, okay? And it had eagle's wings. Y'all see that? That is really amazing. Because if you know anything about world history, Great Britain, their national symbol is a lion. Okay? And it says this lion had eagle's wings. Now, once again, if you know anything about history, the United States, its national symbol is the eagle. And according to world history, about 300 years ago, the United States came out of Great Britain. Ain't that amazing? The United States came out of Great Britain and formed its own country. So let's read that. The first was like a lion, and it had eagle's wings. And I beheld till the wings thereof were plucked. And it was lifted up from the earth, and made stand upon the feet as a man. And a man's heart was given to it. So it's letting you know that these eagle's wings became its own identity. That's talking about the United States of America. And Daniel saw this in the vision. He probably didn't have no idea what he was seeing, but he saw this in a vision, and he was seeing thousands of years into the future. He was seeing around 1700s when Great Britain gave up a large number of people, and that large number of people sailed west and formed their own nation called the United States of America. Daniel saw all of that. That's pretty impressive. Okay, going down to verse 5. Now, verse 5 is really kind of not so cut and dry. It's kind of it's still mysterious to me. Maybe someone else has a better understanding of what verse 5 can be. Oh, no, that's not true. That's not true. I'm getting ahead of myself. This is about the bear, okay? And behold, another beast, a second, like to a bear. And it raised up itself on one side. Now, let me stop right there. This is pretty obvious to me. Like I said, I got ahead of myself a second ago, but this one is pretty obvious. It's talking about Russia. Russia is known as the bear. You know, I remember in the last Olympics, you know, they had a lot of countries that represented, as the countries were representing themselves. When Russia came out, they had this big old bear, you know, and they had this bear ice skating, you know. So Russia is known as the bear. And and it raised up itself on one side, and it had 3 ribs in the mouth of it, between the teeth of it. Now that's interesting because, you know, when I was studying this out, what that could mean, what kept coming to my mind is in the beginning, when God took a rib from Adam and made Eve. So the rib usually is symbolic of your own people, of your own family, your own kind, you know. So it sounds like that what Daniel was seeing is some sort of genocide, some sort of attack of one's own people, you know. And when I think about world history, now I'm not by any stretch of the imagination a historian, you know, but I do know a little history here and there. And I know there was a guy named Joseph Stalin in the early 1900s that had murdered millions on top of millions of people. He was the leader of Russia, of the Soviet Union. And a lot of the people who he murdered were his own people, from what I understand. So that sounds like that could be a description of Joseph Stalin, you know. Now, like I said, someone else might have a better understanding of what this could mean as well, but I'm pretty convinced that the verse 5 is a revelation of Russia, okay? And now verse 6, after this I beheld, and lo, another like a leopard. Now, this was the one I was referring to as kind of not so cut and dry. Like a leopard, which had upon the back of it 4 wings of a fowl. And the beast had also 4 heads, and dominion was given to it. Now, I heard someone say that this is a description of Germany. And the reason being is, you know, Germany has 4 Reichs, and we are in the 4th Reich now. And this will explain the 4 heads. And not only that, but Germany have made a popular line of tanks that are called leopards. So, you know, that evidence is pretty pretty strong. So, I can go with that. Another theory is this 4-headed leopard is for Islamic countries, because there are quite a few Islamic Muslim countries in the world today whose national symbol is the leopard. So, you know, that's a toss-up to me. But there's another point that might shed a little light on this, and I'm going to come back to it in a moment. Okay? Now, verse 7. After this I saw in the night vision, and behold, a 4th beast, dreadful and terrible, and strong exceedingly.
Check us out at Facebook at RCR Network, and also on Twitter at RCR_network, and our website at rcrnetwork.com.